Okay, so I'm going to make one last attempt at this, and then I am going to have to go off and restart my router if it doesn't work. So,
Hmm.
Reginald, you've hit the city. I've done that bit. Um, as you enter the city, um, you hear uh, shouting like a sound you've heard before. You haven't heard it for a while. Um, you're reminded of when you were in Paris right at the beginning of the revolution, because you fled. You were part of the court. A dance master to the nobility, um, and you hid yourself in the catacombs to escape. The sort of the 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 Jacobin sort of crowds who were executing people madly left, right, and center. Um, you have that moment come back to you. So you hear crowds shouting and screaming and spilling out of one of the streets that feed into the main street. You see a large crowd of men and women shouting and waving um, equipment, tools, other things as they enter onto the street. Standing in front of them, or leading them perhaps, is a face that you haven't seen in decades. Um, you have this sort of sudden moment of recollection. Make a fear check. Make a sanity check for me, please.
And it worked. Did everyone see that?
Yes, yes, it did
Okay,
work.
fantastic. It's good.
So you see the face of an artist that you had met early during the revolution. He had lived sort of hand to mouth over that period, but you both sort of traveled in similar sort of circles. He was certainly a darling of the sort of more radical nobles, so the nobles who um, had their what's the name of the sort of the gatherings of nobles? There was a particular name for it. Anyway, so you have seen this face before. The name comes to you in a moment, and it is Vaquilin.
Yep,
Um,
Buckley with a B. Yep.
Vauquelin. Um, Now he disappeared. Like, I mean, you haven't seen him in 20 years. He was just as concerned, scared, whatever, as you. He went into hiding, um, but there he is, leading this crowd. And as the carriage comes in and the rider is sort of snapping his whip on the horses, he's not the carriage isn't being sped up though. Like the rider isn't reacting to this riot. So
Right.
you're looking out the window, you can see what is to all effects and purposes a riot, and you're kept the carriage sort of driver is just meandering through the street, and you
Uh,
see Vaquilin sort of looking around, and this crowd of quite crazed people behind him.
is he looking like angry or determined or something, or is he looking a little lost as well?
Um, Make a psychology check for me, please.
Whoop.
He isn't looking much of anything. Um,
Does he
uh,
look? In my mind, does it look like he might be in danger from the mob?
Up to you whether you think that.
Okay. If I feel a panic kind of grips me because I've seen this before, um, and I would not want a familiar face uh, to to get caught by the outrageous mob. So I would probably stick my head out the window and call his name, Vakulen, Vakulen, over here, man, over here.
Okay, you see him snap to you, like when he obviously when you shout his name. Um, he looks at you from across this open space and points at you with his hand and yells at the top of his voice. There's one of them. There's one of them. One of the ones who betrayed us to the rich. One of the ones who fled to save their own life. And he points at you with this kind of judging look. And you see the crowd surge around him and sort of like a giant falling wave of humanity racing towards you. As they come towards you, you can see their faces quite clearly, and they're all in this rictus of pain and agony. Like the faces aren't normal, they're not right. There's
Right.
something wrong with all of the faces. And they are screaming and clawing towards you. And you can see him standing at the back, just doing this repeatedly with his hand.
Okay. Reginald withdraws his face from the window and pounds furiously on the roof of the cabin.
Yeah.
Says, "Quickly, make haste! Get us away from here! Quick! The ord! Do not let them get their filthy hands on us! Quickly!"
Okay, can I get a I mean it's up to you what type of roll you want to make, I don't mind. But you're trying to give a command. So that's a
Yeah.
persuasion or an intimidate or you know.
Okay. Which one am I good at? Okay, so I'd maybe say, uh, my most handsome and eloquent footman, please, hurry. We must not be late for the Viscountess. So it's charm, basically, is what I'm trying to get.
Okay, you're trying to
Everything else is
charm him, are
terrible.
you? All right,
Everything
go
else
for
is
it. Go me some charm.
yes,
Oh, look at that. Nailed it. Really did nail it.
magnifique.
All right. So he goes, "Oh, of course, sir," and you hear a kind of, but it's all
I see
very
running
sort
down.
of course, sir. Yes, good point, and get on, and sort of you hear the clack of the whip. Um, the forms that are giving the people that are giving chase are sort of stumbling, collapsing on each other like an avalanche. It's like watching an avalanche in slow motion. You see people's bodies falling down and then people just rolling over the top of them as this crowd tries to give chase. But the carriage pulls away from this crowd. Um, and as it pulls away and you've hidden your face in, you can't really see behind you anymore, right? Like, so you can only hear the horde, you can't see it anymore. But as you turn the corner, you reach the end of the street, you turn a corner, you are able to grab a quick glance out the window, um, and you see no sign of the horde at all. There's nothing there. There's a street of, people for sure, and people jumping out of the way because you know, the carriages come streaming down the middle of it, and
I
um,
guess at this point I bang on the roof and say, "Slow down, you man! Are you crazy? You're trying to kill people?" And then Reginald sits back and has a very long um, uh, sip out of his hip flask. He's sweating, and for a moment there, he was kind of back in the dark days of the revolution.
nice. So you then arrive at the manor house. It's not really a manor house, but the apartment of the Viscountess Purbeck, with the equipment. Um, just as you pull up, you see a young woman come racing down the stairs out of the house. You don't recognize her. You've never seen her before, but she seems quite emotionally distraught. and clutching her sort of, her clothing to her chest, and sort of makes haste down the road. Um, uh, she glances at you as she runs away and mouths something at you. Make a spot hidden roll, I think it would have to be.
Really bad at that. Let's go. Holy shit.
See? Look at that. Look at you just nailing it. Left, right, and center, buddy. Come on.
As I
Have
was going to
some.
call out to
Reginald's
him.
going to be getting bitter at spot hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, has it been ticking? Yes, it has.
Yes, it has. It's all going
Yeah.
seamless. I'm
Yeah.
actually running this Foundry through through Firefox rather than my normal thing, and it seems to be running a lot better.
Okay. Cool. That's a beautiful thing. Um. So, she mouths to you, "I'm so sorry."
Oh, he does stop and sort of leans out of the cab. Is he in time to sort of catch her? Mademoiselle, are you okay? Are you in danger? May I be of some assistance to you?
Uh, She looks at you for a second, and this quite throaty, somewhat husky voice comes out of her mouth and says, "There's nothing I can do for you. You're on your own." You
Oh,
can make
really?
a intelligence roll. Is the
Okay,
only thing.
let's do that. This game is
God,
easy.
look at this! Wow, Reginald's like just nailing it left, right, and center. You recognize the voice, although it doesn't fit the face. That's the voice of Sarah Brown, who you met in
The witch.
the witch. Yes, who guided you out
Mm,
of the place, Dunwich.
okay, Sarah Brown of Aqualand. It's all happening.
Mm. Right. So at that point, you can get out of the carriage and go upstairs, where everyone is in the sitting room. Um, because it's going so well. But look, you've got an exhibition to go to, people. Don't forget, there's an exhibition
Yeah.
to go to.
Sitting with a sherry.
Yeah,
At
there's a
the
few
moment,
sherries.
though, the Viscount piece is in a state of collapse on the couch, on the settee. I don't know what we're calling it. It's a fancy couch with
Cities, I'm
spindly
assuming.
legs, which are creaking mightily right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe Eliza had just managed to scream and shatter her teacup all over the floor.
Yeah.
So you're all standing in this space, um,
Or in some disarray.
in some disarray.
This is not the reception I had hoped for. Viscountess, are you well?
My dear man, I'm afraid I am not well at all. I'm like fanning myself, and I think Georgiana had just fetched me my smelling salts. And I'm like,
Reginald offers very surreptitiously his hip flask. Um,
knocking that back.
It's got a better kick than the sherry.
Heck yeah. Oh, it's got some good stuff in there. I'm afraid, Reginald, you found us in a state of some disturbance. My goodness, the last few days have been so terribly unsettling. But please tell me, how was your journey from Terryford? Are you well? Were the roads safe? Please tell me they were safe.
oui, thank you, mademoiselle. It was, well, to be honest, it was quite a plain trip until I got into this uh, what you call a capital. I was guided by the smell of many unwashed Britons. How do I put this? Many years ago, when I had to leave Paris that I was visiting very quickly and by a hidden kind of route. There was an artist that I knew who I had not seen for many, many years and thought or heard he had been killed. Um, Madam, I just saw him on the road leading a mob not dissimilar to one of the mobs that I fled many years ago. The worst of that is that when I had another look, the mob and this artist were nowhere to be seen. I feel that maybe the smell or some sound or something maybe ticked off a memory that I had long forgotten. So I do not know what to make of that. But um, I just saw a woman leave the house. I did not recognize her face, a young woman, but I did recognize her voice. It's somehow not possible, but do you remember the witch, Sarah Brown?
Yes, we
Uh,
have just spoken with her ourselves.
well, okay, at least one mystery makes some kind of sense. That one being the one where the witch from 400 years ago is still out and about. That makes sense. Okay. And he graciously asks for the hip flask back and then takes another swig, belches it himself.
Another
So all is
swig.
well. Fantastic. Yeah, excellent. Excellent.
Well,
Starts fanning himself.
that young lady with the voice of that witch from all that time ago is the reason we are in such a state that you find us in right now. She came to us with the most alarming warning that it makes no logical sense. But Monsieur du Plessis, our journey to London was terrifying. I cannot tell you how awful I felt, how frightened I was for us all. We saw things out the window in the darkness as we travelled late at night to our lodgings. We saw somehow in the woods a statue of a weeping angel and some other hooded creature with a whip that was, no, a chain. The creature, it destroyed this angel, this beseeching angel with this chain, whipped it, and it crumbled, and it was gone. And I don't I don't know what to think, but that girl came here and in the voice of that witch told us that we must speak to the weeping angel.
Weeping Angel. Miss Eliza, have you been playing tricks again in my absence?
Oh, Du Plessis, I have missed your rambling, rambunctious character. No, at all. We have not been just sitting on our laurels and enjoying fine alcohols. We have experienced the paranormal yet again. Of course, Lady Purbeck speaks of what we witnessed in the forest, strange, shifting visions. The idea of domination, the destruction of something precious, and the devouring of that same thing. It and again, the fact that this woman, this witch, this conjurer comes into our midst to say, "Oh, by the way, just important to let you know. I thought I'd tell you in person. I can't see anything about your futures because you probably don't have them." That's enough to cause any person to want to jump out the nearest window.
Of,
Would you
of
say?
course, Miss Eliza, forgive me. I spoke in jest. I do not, of course, believe that anyone in this party is responsible for what is happening here,
Oh,
of course.
no, Duplessis, I am being churlish, and I am, of course, I've forgotten my manners because I am so flustered and so incensed. I, of course, had a fit of feeling that I was being burned alive because of that woman, and so I've just run myself a bath, and now I'm feeling quite turnabout. But that's what we experienced. You said that you saw
Well, I mean,
a
in some ways,
man.
what you say draws a parallel because when I last saw this man, it was also at the destruction of something that was much cared for by myself and others as well. So I saw him
Hmm.
in the early stages of the violent uprising and the revolution that started, and that preceded me taking my leave of my adopted hometown of Paris, and so that actually makes some sort of parallels that things from the past are perhaps being destroyed or in danger. So that yes,
Might I just ask, because we've heard that there will be a gallery this evening, some sort of showing, museum, such and such, and might we find this person there? Did they escape the revolution? What was their name?
his name was Vakulin. He was not particularly well known, but we were in the same circles in many ways. Please correct me, Thomas, if I get any of this wrong. Um, um, and when the revolution came, he went one way and I went the other. As you must understand, in the arts, as the Viscountess knows very well, that we have it is a very hand to mouth living, and so we need mentors and people who will pay us for our skills and our talents, and I was one of those, as were many artists, and wrongly accused because of the tone of a play that I had written. I am not particularly a royalist or a libertarian. I am just an actor trying to make his way, and so I think this man, as with many, I say, small men who found themselves in positions of power amidst the chaos, and he was one as one such. So it did throw me. But I would, of course, like to come to an art gallery and see some of the paintings. I would be very surprised if his paintings were there, as he was not very well known beyond, the circles in Paris at the time.
You'll be very surprised by the paintings. They were quite graphic in a grotesque way.
Yes, as I clearly recall many of his works. He was, of middling talent. There's a expression in the art or a feeling in the art if you maintain or all that with middling talents. That is all you'll ever to aspire to be. So he was not one
Hmm.
that I was enamored of, but until this chaos overtook and many previously, powerless people suddenly had power and did terrible things in its name. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
I feel there are far too many coincidences here to be anything but. Monsieur Duplessis, you have seen a man from many years ago.
We,
Very surprised to see him here. Yet not a few hours ago, I visited the cathedral and met a French woman, a woman I knew from my youth. I have not seen or heard from her in 20 years, and there she was, right there at the cathedral, on the very day we arrived, and I chose to go there. And now My dear Richter, are you saying that that strange painting you saw, was it painted by that man?
I don't know. I I actually can't remember the name of the person he said.
Hmm.
I feel
Uh,
very uneasy about this. It feels
Hmm.
pre
it feels
premeditated.
contrived. Yes, 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 something like
Like a
that.
trap.
It does. It does indeed. It is this French woman, Madame Dubois, who has invited us to the showing her husband is putting on, a private showing. I fear this night not not be safe. We must all be on our guard when we go.
Yes, absolute. But we must go together. A show of unity. Maybe I could look around the edges and see what I might see, but also be an hidden associate of yours should things go wrong or something like that. Um,
Hmm.
um,
Well, Reginald, I mean, I by all means rush around and sneak, etc. Of course, we are always indebted to your more finer, finesse-filled talents. However, I will say the idea of someone who has a Belgian, i.e., quite close to French accent at an art gallery, it probably will increase our standing and allow us to flit around less perturbed. So don't shy away from the limelight if you feel you're interested.
well,
Hmm.
that does make sense. Perhaps should we have some sort of story about who I am and does the name
Hmm.
what was it, Madam
Oh, Marie
Dubois?
Marielle
Dubois.
Dubois. Marielle Dubois.
Ariel?
Ariel Dubois? Does that ring a bell with me?
No.
Okay, cool, no worries. Um, um, Yeah, I mean, I'm quite confident in that because I will can dress myself up, and most times when people would have seen me, if anyone has at the time, I was doing plays, so I was already done up anyway. So the chances of being recognised um, directly is moderately slender. So, um, yes, look, of course, maybe we can go and find. I do not know much about fine art, but uh, there's too many coincidences here for this not all to be sort of linked together.
I must admit that I would feel much more secure if I thought that you were escorting the young ladies and the rector can be with me and
Well,
that
we're
we
safer
will have
already.
our many eyes watching over us. But Miss Wentworth, I know you sit quietly, but you are always watching. Share with us, what do you think? We need everyone's wise counsel before we go.
Lily, you're the best.
Oh, sorry. Um, I'm not sure, Viscountess. I'm trying to. Well, do we have to go to the exhibition?
I fear that we must. I did give my word to Madame Dubois and told her how thrilled we would be to attend. It would it would not look well upon us at the very start of this season to be withdrawing at this stage.
Oh, of course, Viscountess. Um, well, hope. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to come to terms with everything that has happened lately. What you told me you saw on the way there, then suddenly this encounter with, well, whatever the woman was telling us. I don't mind saying I'm quite perturbed by all this, and I scarcely know what to think.
Well, I quite understand because I feel turned about inside out and upside down. I'm a woman of this world, and I have navigated the Ton for many a year, and I have never felt myself in such a position. Here we are.
Thomas,
Mhm.
whilst drinking sherry, I'm
Yep.
trying to draw a picture of the man who showed me the grotesque picture.
Make a fine art roll.
I'm just about to try that. Oh
Four.
no. I was hoping it was the other way. All right.
So it's a perfect drawing of.
It looks something like the devil, probably.
So you draw the picture, you render it perfectly. I don't. You now have this picture, and it is, to your
Right.
mind, a perfect rendition of the person.
Yeah. Actually, that's a 4. That's like I wrote a 4.
That's an extreme success.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Come in, Spinner.
Yeah. That's good. Do it in the style
You could
thing.
sell that
I actually
portrait
show
for
people the picture of the man, including Duplessis, to see if it's his man.
Okay. So you've drawn this perfect picture of the person, and in your mind's eye, it's perfect. When you
Right.
show everyone else the picture, what the rest of you see that he's drawn is, actually, hold on, let me think about this. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's good.
Don't mind the sherry stains.
You all see uh, screaming face. Like the face is yelling at you. Its mouth open wide in absolute agony or pain or anger. It's twisted in some fashion. The face itself is twisted, turned wrong, and you can see that there are hooks in both ears, like an earring set, pulling down on the ears. However, the rector just sees this perfect. No, rector, you see,
Wow, isn't this glorious? He
yeah,
says.
you see this perfectly great face. By the way, I will just say that you're all able to go, fuck, that's a good drawing. Like I just want to make it clear, the quality of the art is there for all to see.
Look at the shading. I only had a pencil to work with.
Why is it so severe, Rector? You
What do
didn't
you
say
think?
that the person who you met was screaming.
No,
and,
no, he wasn't.
and what are those
He was
hooks? Are those hooks in his ear?
what? What? No, that's not. Are you sure that you need to have your eyes checked? I mean,
Victor,
this is a glorious piece of work that I've just done.
it's a very disturbing drawing, Victor. I don't know what you think you have drawn, but please put it away.
Is this a macabre jest?
Whilst I don't know the man, I'm tempted to actually hang him in like the rectory just to remind me of.
Can
I,
I?
I think the deacon might have words, or the bishop, or even higher than you. I can't remember. Will have words to say about
You're
that.
very flustered, Lady Purbeck. It's all falling apart. It's just reaching
This
for church hierarchy and
I
pulling
know.
it in.
this is the man that I saw that showed me the painting. The
That is
painting
not a
had
man. That is the devil, or being a person being tortured by
he
devils.
he did seem rather like devilish, but more in a stylish. I don't trust this man. He's oozing power. And the picture that he showed me was just horrendous. It had an angel with its guts spilling out. It was just vile and horrid. I don't know what sort of person would make such a thing. but my picture's perfectly fine. Thank you very much.
Can I, in this moment, right? Like the way that he describes how, how it's not that, and like how Lady Purbeck was describing what she was seeing. Can I make an insight roll? Sorry, insight, psychology. We're not D&D right now.
Mhm.
Psychology, um, to see whether I glean anything about what the emotion is, because you gave us a few emotions, and I wonder whether this is grief.
Yeah, sure. Fire away.
Because we were asked, I think it was the grieving angel or the sad angel or something like that. Yeah.
Fire away.
Yeah, angels aren't doing very well around here lately.
No,
Glad I
not at
wasn't
all.
doing sculpture. Hmm.
Hey, regular success.
Hey. Okay, so the picture, the face,
Mm,
is you realize actually a combination of two emotions, one of which is definitively pain, uh, but the other is hunger or desire.
mm, mm.
Like there is a there's a sense that this face is seeking this that this person is seeking this pain.
Right. I think I kind of like snatch up the drawing and kind of stare deeply at it and kind of describe what you've just explained, like what I see, kind of just like listing words pain, hunger, desire. It wants this. It needs this. Why?
Well, it
Why? Uh, and I just kind of like, I throw the thing over at Rector. I would throw it in the fire, but I don't want to be rude. But it's still beautiful, if not harrowing. But yeah, I don't think you can bear to look at it anymore.
Okay.
um,
Maybe
out of
you should try
curiosity,
drawing something if you think you
I
can
was
do better.
well, I was going to
Oh,
suggest,
damn it. I'm going to
has
have
anyone
another
else got
sherry.
any facility with
Fine.
art?
Sorry. Sorry,
Does anyone else
Reginald.
have any sort of facility with drawing or art?
Uh, I don't know. Does anyone? I don't think they do. Actually,
No.
maybe. Oh, does
I've got all
Georgiana
the
have
fun.
arty skills? Is Georgiana capable of
I think
artiness?
Lady Purbeck and I were the only
I,
No.
ones
I
really
do.
any. Yeah.
Oh, Lady Purbeck can draw. Right, there you
Yes,
go.
I've got skills in fine art and
She
a
happened to be
praise.
club fisted, which is why she got into ceramics.
It's all thumbs and likes to break things. No, I was just thinking maybe get the Viscountess to draw what she sees, and then anyway, it doesn't matter. It's doesn't really matter. When do we need to be at this event?
In the evening, so we've got the rest of the afternoon to.
Okay.
We're
Um,
doing
uh,
Chinese whispers of the dark arts through sculpture and pencil drawing.
Yeah.
Go on, Lady Purbeck, have a go.
All right, let me see what I can sketch to show you what I see.
Whilst I just have a bit more tipple of the
Nah,
shirt.
no, you're right. I'm terrible ham-fisted drawer.
it looks like a stick figure.
It's some. The Lady Purbeck has drawn some horrible sort of half-formed screeching face, Rector. It looks nothing like the drawing you've done.
She's
It's
probably actually drawn the creature in the forest that haunts her dreams.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously people's emotions are being, well, their drawings are being affected in some way. Hmm.
Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna cut there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh. Sorry, before we do, if that's
Yeah.
okay, could I like I think that at the rector's comments about you like you can't draw, so try and draw yourself, whatever. I think that I think that Eliza takes that as a personal challenge. And I actually think that she storms off in a huff to kind of prepare for this night's festivities. And the second that she kind of goes into her room and slams the door, classy. Um, uh, I think that she immediately goes under her bed and takes out her journal and kind of goes onto her bed, very much kind of like, on her stomach, kind of looking up at the book and just writing in it and journaling more around the nature of desire and how that relates to pain and hunger and the idea of this weird kind of this is kind of broken story of this woman um Togarini and the nature of desire.
Mm.
um so can I roll my literature?
Sure. You can also make a sanity roll once you do
Amazing. I
Ever
love
got into
that.
her?
Uh, where am I? 52. I will spend 2 points of luck to make that a success.
that. Okay, nice, nice.
Hmm.
Okay. Um,
And
so
then a sanity roll?
yes, please. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are doing too well on the sanity rolls.
Incredibly sane. This is just a story. I am
Correct.
like it's the wellspring of my own emotion.
Correct. You are just expressing yourself. Um, you do
Form of
notice the
therapy.
story takes on a tone of the person being a supplicant to Togarini, like that
Mm,
Togarini's like on a pedestal. You notice that as you write the story that
yeah.
turns into the tendency of it, and I mean the fact that you take a sort of first person sort of biographical form in your writing
Mm,
is completely natural. I mean it's journaling, so the fact that you're talking about yourself worshipping at the feet of Togarini, just literary expression.
mm.
Nothing weird about that at all. Makes complete sense. It's exactly what you intended at the beginning.
It's the nature of the divine feminine.
It is. Yeah. You feel completely comfortable with it and absolutely in control of your emotions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is a metaphor for succumbing to grief, right? And trauma. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. All right. So thank you, Reginald. So we will, despite all of the weirdness, you spend the afternoon, the sort of late afternoon into the evening, um, preparing yourself for the normalcy of going to an art exhibition and meeting rich, wealthy potential bachelors that you might marry your wards off to, Lady Purbeck. There's a feeling of normalcy about this. Like this is
Yeah,
why you're in London. This
it
is
is.
why
It is.
you're in
And
London.
this is, I just fall back onto what I've always fallen back onto because, to be honest, Lady Purbeck's always been riding the edge of sanity. She's quite shaky, really,
Very much so, yeah.
but she's always held to the rules of etiquette. It's like this solid foundation she can always return to. She knows exactly what to do and how to behave and what's the right thing to do in this situation and who to talk to. So she's like spending the afternoon just clinging on to those rules and just like preparing herself. This is the foundation of society is good behavior. Might even go back and like flick through some of her favorite etiquette books to
Yep.
soothe herself.
And maybe there's a little book you keep where you keep how much money each eligible bachelor is worth on a yearly basis, and You sort of look through those numbers and get a bit of a warm feeling inside as you imagine your ward successfully married off to these good, worthy gentlemen with their very worthy incomes.
Can't see
Um,
it.
so look, there's a moment of comfort in that. There's definitely a moment of comfort.
Oh,
Okay, so you all dress appropriately to the best of your ability. This is a proper night out. Um, everyone's going. Reginald, you've managed to score the free food invitation that you treasure so deeply. Um,
has everybody taken their pistols and knives with them?
Yes.
I'm just asking because I've seen this before.
That's the first sane comment I've heard all night.
Oh, yes, I did mean to mention that to Eliza. Strap that bronze dagger to your leg like you did before.
I never leave home without it now.
was gonna say.
It's one of those moments where like a very odd, not normal thing being said feels very normal and reassuring. Yeah. And just like it's like your Eliza kind of like, like puts her hand into her dress and pulls out her pistol, it's like and just puts it back in. It's just like
Jolly good.
peekaboo.
and you all feel safer. You've got equipment, weapons. You arrive at the location. Oh, sorry, Georgiana. Yes.
Georgiana will take the remains of that vial of water from the spring.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think there's half a vial left. Don't know if
yeah.
it'll do anything, but for what it's worth.
But for what it's worth, for what it is worth. Well, you made the appropriate prayerful thanks to the goddess, so can't hurt. So um,
We are in the good books of that ruined goddess.
that's right. So you arrive at the exhibition. It's being held in a two-story Georgian home, uh, quite fitted out for displaying art, though. Uh, there are a number of carriages out the front which suggest a degree of wealth um, uh, is present, Lady Purbeck. You note in your very appraising eye the genuine quality of the carriages and can roughly calculate the likely incomes of the driver of the owners just based on, the degree of gold filigree, running along the
Yeah.
edges of the carriages. You do feel very confident that there will be some gentlemen here who are proper gentlemen, and feel that moment. You come up the stairs. A man in very quite formal attire and very restrained attire. So you're right on the edge of the sort of Regency period. Sort of like fashion is not set. So this guy is wearing sort of dark colors. He's certainly wearing a shirt. He's wearing what looks like long pants. And not sort of tight to the skin. He's looking it's a bit radical. Uh, he comes forward and says, and I'm not going to do disservice to the accent, but he has an accent. Um, which Reginald is definitive is not French. Maybe Spanish, maybe Italian. Like certainly not French. The rest of you just go, oh, it's a foreigner, and develop the usual, attitude to foreigners. Um, uh, Greetings. My name is Alano. I am the, the coordinator of the exhibition. Um, can I please greet you? And I am keeping a small a small log of people who are coming to the exhibition. The Lady Dubois was very clear that I collect that. So if I could just take your names. And he pulls out this black gilt book and a quill. He's got a quill pen.
Well, very well, young man. I'm the Dowager Viscountess Purbeck.
Ah,
This
excellent,
is
excellent. Yes, yes.
my spiritual advisor, Rector Postlethwaite.
Ah, everyone needs one of those. Yes, of course. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These are my two wards, Miss Wentworth and Miss Hastings.
Oh, I'm sorry. The lady was quite insistent. If I could get their full names.
You can put Miss Hastings under the first name Toggerini.
Make a psychology roll.
Yeah, baby. Yes, I wanna fuck with this. I feel like this is the Book of the Damned. What is going on? Okay, 79. Can I push it?
You absolutely can.
Amazing. All right, I'm gonna push. I'm gonna push, baby. All right, here we
Why not?
go.
But Eliza's name isn't Toggerini.
That's an impressive roll. That's an impressive
Very
roll.
impressive.
Yeah,
Very
and
impressive.
you pushed to get there.
Punish me however you like.
He looks up at you. An interesting name, madame. One you've recently acquired, I assume. It's
One that I've
not very English.
No, one that I've dreamt.
Oh, well, I'll just note that down for you then. It writes in the book, make a sanity roll when he finishes
Absolutely.
writing in the book.
All of us or just me?
No, just you.
Okay, perfect.
You don't need to share this one with anyone. This one can be all yours.
Well,
53.
do I still lose one?
Yes.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Perfect.
Lose a point of sanity.
As is good and proper for a fumble.
As is good and proper. And for just a moment, you see the building is wreathed in black flame. And then it's gone.
I think like Georgiana is next to me and I just grab her hand and just like tightly squeeze it and just like sharp intake of breath.
And Georgiana will just notice this and sort of maybe pull them backwards from the others a little and cousin, what is wrong? Are you all right?
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I'm afraid I need your full name before you go off. Nothing personal, but the lady Dubois was most insistent, and I just need to write it down.
I whisper to her.
You can just say you're whispering.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you whispered something, I didn't
Oh,
hear.
sorry. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, I whisper to you, lie.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't like this seems very odd.
I think that Georgiana is particularly bad at any sort of subterfuge and lying and things, but
yeah.
Okay. However, she'll just look squarely at the footman, and she will say, "Sarah Brown."
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm confused. The Viscountess, the Lady Purbeck, introduced you as Miss Wentworth. I'm sure I heard that.
Well,
Make a
if the Viscountess is introducing me as such, why are you judging her word? Either you believe me or you believe her. You can decide this for yourself.
It's a name, I guess. I'll write it down in the book. Dutifully writes down the name in the book. Thank you. You, sir, pointing at you, Reginald. Your name, sir?
Yes, good. My good man. My name is Reginald Bernard.
Reginald de Bernard. Fascinating. 2 first names and no surname. Just amazing, really, isn't it?
I'll have you know, my good man, that I just googled common French last names, and Reginald and Bernard came up as one of the top responses. So unless you would care to step outside, I would care for you to not misspell my name. Thank you very much.
I see.
He huffs.
It's funny. I'd heard rumours that there was a Frenchman in town, a dancing master. Duplessis, I think his name was. Obviously no friend of yours though, sir, I assume.
No answer. He just stares at the guy.
Right. Oh, I clearly was wrong. My
Like
apologies.
he's below my note, beneath my notice.
My
Just a
mistake
typical
completely.
arrogant French person.
And the rector Postlethwaite, wasn't it? Thank you so much, sir, for making your services available to the Lady Purbeck and coming, offering spiritual succor to. I'm sure everyone will be pleased to have you here. It's always nice to have someone from the church.
Lovely.
Can I psychology that, please?
Yes, you can.
Yes. Do I believe him at all?
And you can. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. Yes, I'll assist in any possible way.
So
Sorry, I think I used up all the good rolls.
So 98 and 96. Golf clap.
He seems quite a nice chap.
Yeah, he seems like just a guy trying to do a job, and you people are making his life a living hell. Like, what the hell? He's just trying to write names in a book. Fuck. People, stop being so suspicious. Crikey. All right.
You've nurtured this aura.
This level of paranoia. Is that where we're going? Anyway, no, neither of you pick up any vibes. He's just a guy doing a job. That's very clear. Just a guy doing a job.
Just a guy.
Matter of fact, you feel. As a matter of fact, said Rector Postlethwaite, you feel embarrassed by the way everyone else has treated him.
Well,
because you fumbled, so you feel embarrassed that people have been lying. I mean, you've been standing there. People are throwing out names. They've used the name of the witch, Rector. Yes. They've used the name of the witch.
God will judge you on all this. Mark my word.
He steps back for a second. What?
I get the feeling that the rector would be a tutter. Definitely like one of those.
Well, look, thank you so much. I'll be just enter it. Please enter. Please enter. The exhibition has begun. You are most welcome, and we are happy to have you here to see the art.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for welcoming us.
Yes. I apologize if any. Some of the art is quite confronting. I feel, just for your awareness, some of the art is very confronting.
That is good to know. I shall keep the young ladies away from that.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you wouldn't want any of them looking carefully at the art. It's not really appropriate, as I'm sure you understand. More of a man's art than a woman's art, if I can be so kind. But look, please go in. And he closes up his book and puts it in his pocket and sort of ushers you in gently into the 2 stories.
Just before he does that, I just sort of aside and ask him, my good man, do you know most of the artists being shown tonight? Do you know?
As you're walking into the building and
Yeah.
sort of coming through the doors are closing behind you. Um, of course, sir. This is the Attrocity exhibition, sir, or as it's called, um, the Triumph de la Mort.
Mm.
Uh,
Are you familiar with a fellow countryman, Vakulin? Do you have any of his art here?
oh, sir, I'm so glad you're familiar with his art. The entire exhibition is his art, sir. I mean, the lady, the the Lady Dubois has collected all of his paintings and brought them together for this exhibition. It's a celebration of his art and his vision and his controversy, his dreams and his hopes, and his genius, sir.
Interesting. I look forward to.
Are familiar with his art, sir? I gather from your
I'm
question.
familiar with his artwork and passingly familiar with the man himself many years ago.
You met Vaquilin?
Yeah, it's just before the little troubles that we had across the bay, across the what do they call it? Is it the ditch? That's what we call it, the ditch.
The channel.
The channel.
So
Across
channel,
the
that's
channel.
the channel. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry, what was it called? The Triumph of the what? I forgot.
The Triumph of Death is
Of,
the
of
English
death.
is the English
Right.
translation. The Triumph of the Death,
The
actually,
death.
de la Mort.
Yes, I knew him before he became someone. Yes.
Oh, sir, I'm genuinely moved to have met you. There are so few people who have a direct connection with him.
Oh, it was but a trifle, and it was a very, very long time ago.
Oh, I'm sure you're understating it. I mean, before the revolution, there were soirees and similar events. Um, you would have spent much time with him, I'm sure. Um, you after perhaps later tonight we could find some time and you could share your knowledge of him and your reflections on his genius.
Uh, uh, Let me have a look at the paintings, and we shall see where we go from there.
Oh,
Huh?
of
Thank you.
course, of course.
I do appreciate your
I can't,
enthusiasm. Good man.
I
Thank you.
can't believe I've met someone who knew the man himself. It's deeply moving. Um, yeah, so the doors are closed and you guys are in there. There's a whole bunch of people. You see one of the first people you see, Lady Purbeck, is of course the Lady Dubois, uh, and her husband Anthony Dubois.
Well, of course, go and greet the hosts and thank them for their invitation. And
Oh,
you comment on how
Anthony
beautiful like the
reaches
house
over.
is and how much we're looking forward to seeing the art, la la.
Anthony reaches over, touches your hand, and says, "Oh, Georgiana, it's been an age."
It certainly has. I was very surprised to bump into Madame Dubois at the cathedral. We have only just arrived in town. What a fortuitous coincidence.
If I were to be, can I tell you that? Look, I need to just say, I mean, this is all Mariella's work. I mean, she insisted on it. She developed it. I mean, the vision was hers. Of course, I was able to assist in my own small way through, collecting the art and bringing it together. But you really should talk to her about it. I mean, it's been a project of great passion for her over the last few years, and it's brought joy to my heart that even in her somewhat sickly condition, she's been able to bring this together.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
God, you
so
didn't
sorry to
know?
hear that she. Well, I had not seen her in 20 years.
She still remembers you so, so kindly from those early days. Yes, unfortunately, my dear Mariella has the consumption.
I would not have imagined that.
I know. This is her greatest passion. I funded everything so that, it brings her joy, and she's probably not going to be with us for long, and I just wanted her to have this moment. So thank you so much for coming tonight and making it so special.
It is a very great pleasure to attend this evening.
Oh, and you must introduce me to your wards, these fine young things. I don't know if you've mentioned, but my nephew, Simon, is currently unwed.
Oh, I had not heard. Please, may I introduce to you Miss Wentworth and Miss Hastings, my wards.
Oh, ladies, so pleased you could come with Georgiana, who's just a spirit, isn't she? I mean, she's just a light in the room. And thank you so much yourselves for
Watch out.
coming. Really, tell me. I do need to say, just for you ladies understanding that some of the art is a little confronting and perhaps not appropriate for close inspection. Perhaps my suggestion would be to stand further away from the art so that you don't, see the detail. But I couldn't say no to Mariella. You understand? I personally, it's not my type of art, but Mariella was so very insistent.
Oh, indeed. And thank you so much for your warm greeting and for your warning. I, of course, have attended France and seen some of, Caravaggio's pieces. However, I understand from the Reverend that some of the art is perhaps of a more macabre nature, so I will be wary. However, I am so sorry to hear, and I move forward and reach to take his hand and like grasp it, in a way that's like comforting. Um, uh, I'm so sorry to hear about dear Madame Dubois' consumption and the fact that this is perhaps, a memoriam of sorts, a living memoriam.
As you grab his hand and start
Mm,
saying these words,
yeah, I wanted it.
you're looking at his face,
Hmm.
and suddenly you see it slack-jawed, grey, and withered. His eyes collapsing in their eye sockets. A desiccated corpse looks at you as you grab its hand, and then it's gone.
I think that I let out a small scream. Um,
Oh,
and then I relinquish my hand and I say, "Oh, sorry, it's already happening. It's already starting. It's already starting." And I just like take out my fan and fan myself and turn away from him and allow the conversation to move into a different vein. Perhaps Georgiana has something she would like to say, but I think that's probably the only way I can delicately do that. But I assume I should also make a sanity, right?
no.
Okay.
Um, I think that Georgiana is going to stay frozen for like maybe a few seconds, probably same as most people. But then she will just like reach out and sort of pretend to smack Eliza's hand. And she will say, "Oh my goodness, did you see that huge spider? Oh my goodness, Eliza, I can't blame you for screaming. That was quite horrible. I have never seen something like that in the city before. Usually just in the country or the woods, but oh my goodness."
Yes, yes, absolutely. The the museums, of course, this is quite well kept, and she kind of looks around, as if to assume that it is. But of course, spiders can happen anywhere. My deepest apologies, sir, particularly in your wife's uh museum opening event thing.
All right.
Um, uh, eh, look, I will let you go. Sorry for causing any disturbance. Um, and he moves off.
I immediately grab Lady Purbeck.
Okay, you grab Lady Purbeck.
Uh-huh.
When you grab Lady Purbeck,
Mm-hmm.
you see her throat bleeding from a horrible wound cut across it, her mouth dangling out, her eyes are running with blood, and she is in absolute agony.
Uh, uh, Honestly, I don't know what Eliza would do in this moment. I feel like she might faint. Um, because I think that she just assumed that these people, like in her mind, she's like, this is all a trap. These people are dead, blah, blah, blah. And now she sees Lady Purbeck in the same way. And yeah, I don't know. I think that she kind of is just like, I think it's very much the Scream painting. Just her mouth agape, eyes kind of almost sinking into themselves as she looks at Lady Purbeck's horrifically mangled body.
Yep, make a sanity roll, please.
Absolutely.
Ooh, nope.
Do that.
Uh,
Nice.
hand thy a d6 of sanity loss, please.
Oh, okay, great. I will do that. Here we go. Ah! Four. Okay.
Okay. Is that temporary insanity running in
I
that ground?
started on set 40 47.
8. 48, 47, 47.
Yeah, 47.
So,
So no.
no,
No.
just short of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But
Hmm.
make an occult roll. Actually, make an occult roll.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Sure.
sounds like fun. Let's do that.
All right.
No.
No.
You got no fucking ideas what's going on.
Mm.
All right. You see dead people, only they're not dead yet.
Yeah.
Uh,
Of course, I don't know what she's saying.
yeah.
Alexa, are you quite well? What's going on?
I look, honestly, I think that Eliza's had a long and storied history of keeping information hidden. Um, but I think that in this moment, she had turned to Lady Purbeck to be like, "Oh, mummy," like that kind of
Yeah.
vibe, to be like, "Oh, I saw a really creepy thing," and then now this has happened. I think that she just needs to expel what is happening to her or what she's experiencing. So I think that she just kind of, has like her hands over her face and it's just like, I don't understand, Lady Purbeck, what I am seeing, but I am seeing very strange things. That man I saw, he looked dead. He looked like he had been a corpse in the ground and he was withered and dying. And when I touched your hand, I saw your throat slit. She just begins
Oh,
to cry.
oh, Richter, come quickly.
What? What? What?
Oh, right. I was over here drinking sherry. This nice
Right.
chap.
Don't think of that.
What's wrong with Miss Hastings?
Things, terrible things.
Are you all right, dear? I grabbed Eliza's hand.
What does he see when he grabs me?
Sees nothing.
Oh, I
Interesting.
see something of value in front of me.
Oh, that's nice. I think that I explain again to the rector. I keep saying horrible things, rector, horrible things.
We've all
I
been
s-
seeing horrible things, but what in particular? I mean, this is a very grotesque display. Are you sure you're just not overreacting?
I saw Vigantus Perbex's throat slit, and I saw that man as if he had been desiccated inside a grave, walking amongst us.
You've been writing those books again. My good. So, and is it
Let's go.
just him, or is it everybody you're seeing this?
Well, I grabbed the rector's hand.
Okay, you grab the rector's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, rector, how do you think you die?
How do I think I die?
Yeah,
Um, I always envisaged that I was going to die at the hands of some demon slashing me, but I
perfect.
got past that.
No, it's good. I like it. We can roll with that. You grab the rector's hand and you see um, his chest torn open, a steel hook embedded in his chest that has ripped the cage open in both directions, so he's been pulled asunder, which looks very similar to the hooks you saw in the ears, but bigger.
Mm.
And he's like, but he's talking to you like he's this
Are you
dead
okay? You're
corpse.
you're very, very bloody as my entrails fall out.
That'll teach
You're
Yeah.
very
that'll
pale.
this will teach you to take the name of the living dead gods in vain.
Yeah, baby. I think that Eliza, like now, like she thought something bad would happen when she touched his hand.
And
So I think that yeah, she's like she steals herself, and so
mm,
very kind of calmly, really
mhm.
trying to keep her cool, she describes in detail to the rector how his body looks to her.
Yeah, wow, you can make a sanity check, Rector. And because that's the sort of detail you need in your life. And Eliza, you can make a intelligence roll, please, for me. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to take a bit of sanity, I think.
Yeah, it does look like you are. Holy shit, you got 89%.
Yeah, yeah, I've been getting better every time.
I
Every
have not done
session
my
I got
job.
more sane.
I have not done my job. All right, D4 for you, my friend. And um, yeah, okay. So Eliza,
Three.
Mm-hmm.
now that you've done it quite deliberately, when you touch people, you see their death or they're
Mm.
dead. Nice, nice,
I think
nice.
I'll probably be opting out of that touch. That's a bad touch.
Just, I don't want to know how Reginald dies. I don't want to know. I'm not ready. The eyes. They can't see. No, they get the
You
goggles.
can't
They do
unsee
nothing.
these things.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Now, Georgiana, as in Georgiana Wentworth, just to be clear. Um, you're sort of all this is going on near you. You're sort of, I assume, somewhat horrified by Eliza, but also kind of used to the fact now that Eliza somehow her madness always seems to draw people in, whereas yours sort of is a very private affair. Um, uh, you're looking around the room though, and there is a woman walking straight at you, and she looks pissed. And she's wearing clothes, and you recognize her. This is Sarah Brown. It's not Mary Johnson, it's Sarah Brown. She's wearing her clothes from the 12th century when you last saw her in the flesh, and she looks pissed as. And she's coming right at you. What would
Oh,
what would you like to do, Georgiana?
I think that Georgiana is so shocked by this that she's just going to stand there sort of staring at her.
Okay, she walks up to you. No one else can see her, by the way. You see her walk through people. Um, she walks up to you and goes, "How dare you? I had done everything I could to help you. I had taught you things. I had saved you. I had broken curses for you. And this is how you repay me? You put my name in the book? You
What
claim
book?
my name and you put it in the book? Now I'm
I'm
here.
I'm
I
sorry,
look.
I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know that it meant anything.
You don't use people's names like that. Like, never.
I'm sorry, is there anything I can do to fix it?
Well, no, I'm here now. Yay! I literally left your head to not be here. So I'm just saying, I thought we were going to do things together. I thought we were going to go places. Thought we were going to change the world, free women, overthrow men, deal with misogyny. But no, no. Now I'm here on the in the.
Is there anything I can do to get you out? I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I didn't know what I was doing.
By the way, you're having this conversation out loud, so people are watching you talk to empty space, ghosty.
Does Georgiana notice that people seem to be
Probably not at first. You
okay?
as you have yourself described, quite sort of affronted slash transfixed by this conversation and by this very angry woman in front of you. So at least for the first few minutes, it's mostly going to be about you talking to her. And then, yes, over time, you're going to realize everyone next to you has stopped talking and is
As
looking at you.
okay. As soon as that happens, can I see anywhere like maybe an alcove or a hallway or somewhere that I can sort of run to that looks more or less deserted or something where I could potentially have a conversation with myself and no one would notice?
Yep, there's quiet places. You could probably talk quietly in a
You have a
sort of.
Okay.
fan,
I think
probably.
Georgiana will notice that people are, paying attention to her. Hopefully, they're also distracted by the other weird stuff going around, like Eliza
As
and the
it turns
Rector
out,
and
there's a bit of it
everything.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Lady Pervert,
Georgiana,
you really pick them.
like suggested, she's going to sort of duck into. There's a hallway nearby, and then there's like lots of big curtains and stuff with some alcoves. So she'll just sort of go there, look like she's just sitting down, but use her fan to conceal her mouth and
Yep.
sit in there. And hopefully Sarah follows her, and they can continue the conversation with people like not able to observe.
Sure. She follows you and sits with you. Um, right. So, do
The last thing
you?
I asked was, I'm sorry, is there anything I can do to get you out of here?
Hmm, well, uh, you could die.
Is there anything else that I could do to get you out of here?
Probably not.
What should we do then?
Well, what we should do is hide. Yeah. We should find a really small dark space and hope. Only that's probably not going to work. What we could do, what we could do. I have a thought. I have a thought, and you'll like it because it doesn't involve you killing yourself, which, to be transparent, was my first thought. And me killing you was my second, but I'm not sure that would work either. Um, you could
Let's keep that as a backup plan.
like it. you could make room for me. I mean, it's not like there isn't a space for me already.
Like before.
Yeah, just like
And you
before.
think and that would help.
Well, it would certainly give me a degree of anonymity, which I would very much like right about now.
I think that Georgiana actually does feel really bad about this. Like genuinely bad about this because she didn't know what she was doing when she just blurted out the name. It was just the first thing she could think of. And she is someone who doesn't really, want to put other people in danger, even if they are cultists or witches or something. And she genuinely does actually feel, despite being conflicted about what's happening, she does have, you know, she does feel very grateful for all the things that this person has been helping her do, saving them at the North Lakes and all that. So if she suggests that it will somehow help her to go back into Georgiana's head, she will, yeah, she'll be allow that.
Okay. Um, right, she literally reaches into your mouth and pulls herself into your mouth. Like, sort of, you feel it kind of like there's pressure levering it open. It's not, but that's what it feels like. Um, can I get a sanity roll, please, as you effectively swallow this person?
Okay.
Which is not a comfortable feeling. Like, there's no comfort to that.
Yeah.
I can imagine. That
Okay.
is
It's
a
icky.
You
it's
lose a single point of sanity.
okay.
As she digs herself back into your head. Um, you can feel that she's taken just a little bit more space this time. Like every time she does something, she takes a little bit more space. And this time she's taken just a little bit more space.
Okay.
You are beginning to feel somewhat um, like you used to have a full house that you lived in, and now you've got three-quarters of a house, and for some reason you can't go into the last quarter. It's like there's a weird house guest living over there who gets in the way every time you try and do something. And yes,
Okay.
92% sanity. It's unbelievable, particularly compared to
Um
bloody Pervex, who's a broken human being ready to fall apart at any second. um
You've been like that for a long time.
yeah, no, you started that way. That's my point. you
Yeah.
you you early
okay.
days you were there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess Georgiana's thought is finding the book and like ripping the name out or something like that. But
Yep.
for now, she will just go back and join the others. Hopefully, people have forgotten already that she was essentially talking to herself. And she will
Yep.
just try to rejoin them quietly as if she was never gone.
Okay, so um, do, 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 do.
So as I was saying, I can't stop this effect. I just see people when I touch them and their demise. This is so abnormal and odd.
It,
Okay.
that's what Georgiana will expect it to.
Maybe we should do some circulating, look at some of the art so we're not all standing in this one space, attracting varying degrees of attention. Yeah.
I
Yes.
agree. Let's do that.
Yes, that is a wise thought, Monsieur Bernard. Let us go onward. Do you really think this is the art that that man did that you knew?
Well, that's why I want to go around and have a bit of a look and see if any of it predates when he knew the Vakulin.
Okay, so the first painting you see is this painting, um, which has a brass plate at the bottom of the frame. Self-portrait of Aquilin, flanked by corpses representing the body. Um, Reginald, yes, this is definitely Vaquilin. This is the guy you remember. A bit older than you remember, but definitely the same guy. Um, Rector, this is the guy you were talking to in the church.
You're on mute.
I am on mute. I kind of choked back my drink a bit. Is is this the man that you know, Reginald? This is the man that I saw, I talked to in the cathedral.
Yes, yes. Obviously, he's a bit older now, but yes, definitely that was him. And
He caused a
sadly,
shiver down my spine, and his art was just grotesque.
do you find the interesting thing about the halo?
Oh, yes, obviously he has some sort of aspirations there.
Well, when I saw him in the carriage, there was a mob, and mistakenly, I thought perhaps he was in danger, and I called out to him, and he basically pointed the mob at me and said he is one of them, and so obviously
He's
I.
not a very good friend of yours.
No, we knew each other. We are in similar circles as young artists before the revolution. And look, even then, I feel like he had an inflamed sense of his own sort of worth. But yeah, this is very disturbing. Not just the painting, but the fact that now we have both seen this man, but and a quick glance around the room doesn't reveal him anywhere that we can see.
No.
No, I assumed not.
His eyes are following me. It's very weird.
um,
What do we got there?
yes, that is him. So, are there any dates or anything like that on the plaques or anything?
Uh,
Not that it matters, but this is post
no,
when
no.
I.
No, it was definitely post when you saw him. He's older in the painting. Uh,
And
uh,
he has the symbol of witchcraft there, and the devil.
Well, I
mhm.
mean, the exhibit is called Triumph de la Mort. You know, the triumph of the death. So I don't know. Maybe I had thought he was dead already. So maybe he has triumphed over death.
Don't know. I
Shall
haven't
we?
seen him since.
No, but he obviously he or something masquerading as him is obviously still active. If you saw him just days ago, shall we continue and try and see if we can learn anything else?
Did you see? Do you know if this man actually died or not?
I don't. I was sort of just leaving that open up
Mm.
to Thomas whether
Hmm.
I fled when
Okay.
the
Yeah,
revolution started.
you assumed he died because lots of
Yeah,
people did.
Mm.
yeah.
Like, but you personally don't know if you
No,
don't have a direct record of his death.
Yeah.
You've just
Okay.
lived with the assumption that he died. Um,
Yes. Well, let's have a look at another one. Hopefully, it'll be just as enlightening.
um,
I I think that like Eliza and Georgiana are kind of standing back a little bit from the paintings. Like we're still able to see them, but we're just a little bit farther behind the rest of them. And I think that Eliza mutters to Georgiana, "What would you be willing to give to triumph over death?"
I'm not sure what you are asking, cousin.
I'm
Is
talking about the
this
painting. This person is wreathed in a halo and flanked by death. Transcension of death. is it not?
Yes. Very shocking painting indeed, but I have to admit you are much more knowledgeable of art and that sort of thing than I am. I can't make much of what I'm seeing.
Fair enough, cousin. And we just walk on.
So,
I would suggest to the wards that, ladies, if you are not feeling up to this, then maybe we can find you somewhere to sit and relax, and we can maybe you could read the room, and we can see what else we can see. But
No, Duplessis, I'm perfectly comfortable so far.
and I do offer them surreptitiously both my hip flask, just pull out of the jacket. Anyone?
Oh no. Thank you, Duplessis. I shan't be needing that yet. I'm sure there's much more macabre where that came from.
okay. I'm just conscious of time, and
Mm.
I do want to start the next session in a particular way. So
Mhm.
you guys are circulating around, looking at the art, hiding from the art, whatever works. Um, by the way, I'll just say that you can all go and look at the paintings. If you go to the journals tab, I've created it so you can go and look at all the individual paintings and their write-ups. So please feel free. Um, you should be able to see them under the. Well, you may not see the folder called
Oh,
the
yeah.
Atrocity exhibition, but there's
Yeah.
definitely the paintings, so you can look at all those. Um, there is a low bell ringing through the room, and on the balcony of the second story of the building. And just to be clear, we're talking. As much as I have to say this, we're talking not. We're talking kind of American, so it's first floor is ground floor, second floor is anyway. You get it. So when I read the book, it says second story, and it actually is first story for us. Um, Anyway, standing on the first story balcony, looking over the room where all the art is being exhibited, is Marielle Dubois, Lady Marielle Dubois, and there is she is glowing. She looks full of health and vitality, um, in a way that you hadn't seen before. Like when you saw her before, she was pale. She was, obviously
Yeah.
sick. As you know, she has the consumption, but none of that is apparent from where she stands. She stands at the top of this thing, and Alano, the chap you met at the beginning, sort of comes up to her and goes, Lady Dubois, as you requested, here is the book. And she goes, oh, thank you. I just didn't want to miss anyone. Um, and she opens up the book and says, look, I'm all of you friends of art, friends of mine, friends of society, wealthy, nobles, and poor alike. Um, Thank you for coming to this exhibition of the great, dearly departed artist, Vaquilin. Um, I had the pleasure of knowing him for several years, and Reginald, you can make a um,
Right.
like a history roll, I think, or a streetwise roll. Um, it just, yeah. Do you have any of those things? Uh, wow, your history is wow. Okay. Actually, make a reputation roll. No. Okay. Unfortunately, you don't know the thing. Um, uh, and I know this will shock all of you, but he was my lover before I met my husband Anthony. Um, uh, I know that will shock many of you, but and she sort of makes a little joke and says, "But I am French, you know." Um, there's this moment of silence, and all the English people go, "Well, yes, that tracks, but still not okay."
Okay.
Um, It's like, yep, absolutely what the French would do. Still not okay.
Okay.
But look, and she starts to read every name in the book out. I just want to thank, and she lists every single person for all of you to have come here. Um, and then she sort of gestures down the floor, and Alano is down there with you now. He's moved down there quite rapidly, and he's pulling out a painting you haven't seen before. It seems to be a triptych, very much in the vein of the background image that you have in the middle here. So you have Valaquin's self-portrait on one side of the triptych. In the middle, you actually have the building you're in, or at least it looks at first like the building you're in, but it's wreathed in red and black flame. And then on the other side, you can see the face of Marielle Dubois, sort of pale, but yet at the same time broken and twisted. He opens it up and he goes, oh, and grabs his skull and his hair and pulls it off his face. And behind it, you see this horrific, screaming visage of Valquilin, rather similar to the one that Cedric Postlethwaite had drawn just hours ago, torn in a rictus grin, but now, and he just shreds all of this flesh from his face. At this point, everyone starts to scream, not just you guys. Like, there are other people in the space. He's doing this terrible thing.
Except the rector. See, I told you.
That's what I. Well, actually, the funny thing is, the rector's going, I didn't draw that, and everyone else is going, fuck, rector, how did you know? The rector's going, that's not what I drew, and everyone's like, no, that's what you drew. There is this bell ringing through the room, and suddenly, out of all of the paintings on the walls, you see light shining, depth appearing. The paintings seem to stretch back from themselves as you are surrounded by these paintings that seem to now be three-dimensional, like you can see into them. Indeed, at that point, as this is all happening, and you see arms and hands, and you see some of the people even in the room now sort of collapsing to the ground as he sort of waves his hand, as he's torn his face off, and he's now waving his hand in these gestures, and you see people collapsing around him, dying or at least fainting immediately. Georgiana, you hear Sarah's voice in your head saying, we run through that door. You get the instant, there's the door, we should run through it. Like, let's not stay here, is the voice you get in your head. Like, run through that door, run now.
Georgiana will reach out. She will grab Eliza and she'll grab the Viscountess, even though she has not a hope in hell of moving the Viscountess. And she will just say, run, as forcefully as she can, and she will try to drag them through the door that Sarah has told her to.
Okay. Can everyone make sanity rolls, please?
Yes.
Well, maybe no.
Well, hey. You know what? Yes. Go. Just have at me in that way. Here we go.
Oh my god, the rector's like a calm center of...
Indeed, as he pulls out his cross and his Bible.
Yes!
So the only person to fail was the Lady Purbeck. Hey, Lady Purbeck, it's pretty horrific. I think this is a D8. That's what I reckon. I reckon this is a D8.
Seems fair.
And I'll have everyone else lose a sanity point, please, because even though you're okay, you're not okay.
Oh my gosh, but I only lost 2.
Just embarrassing.
That's good.
Yeah, okay, so So you all hold it together. It's quite impressive. Although, Eliza, is that extra point just enough to point you over the edge?
No, because if I started at 47, then I need to get to 38.
Ah, so
Yeah.
close.
So I have 3 more points left.
I can smell it.
So close.
So close. All right. You're all holding it together. Georgiana, you're dragging people. Lady Purbeck, are you being dragged?
Heck yes.
Because,
That was just so horrific. And of course I want to get my young ladies away from whatever horror is happening here.
Okay. Rector, you pulled out the cross, you've got your Bible. Are you going to step up and challenge Satan one-on-one, or are you going
No,
with the people who are making a bolt for the door?
I'm the tail gunner going with the people that are bolting.
Right. Okay, good. Okay, good. Because, getting you to make up a character between now and the next fortnight is an option. All right. And whatever happened to the rector? Yeah. So
Yeah.
he did Kool-Aid, too much of.
That's right.
Reginald, what are you doing, buddy?
Reginald, once he sees everyone kind of moving, he sort of stops and says, Viscountess, forgive me, puts his hands on her bum and just pushes her forward and makes sure that everyone's moving, and he's the last one out the door.
Okay, so you guys push your way through the door, and Georgiana, when you're through the door, you see, you feel your own hand slam the door closed, like without your control or consent. Um, Interestingly, it's your left hand. And You're all standing in this room. You can hear screaming
Is,
coming
it,
from
is there
the door.
anything heavy that we can block the door with?
You're in a room with desks and chairs. It looks like maybe an office or an accounting space, like somewhere where people have been, writing things down. So there are definitely desks. You can
Okay.
at
Yeah.
the desk across the floor.
Because someone help me, please, and we move the desks across while
I will.
someone's
I will.
finding a way
Yeah.
out of the room.
Okay, can I get
Georgiana will
strength
help.
rolls, please, for the people pushing
May.
desks to the door?
Where is my character? Here we go. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, get rid of that.
Well, anything at all.
Wow. Georgiana
Yes.
Wentworth.
Yes, I can.
I think that we can probably say from that it is not Georgiana who is pushing them. It is someone else who also has residence of her body.
Correct. Who's
I'm
very
I'm
keen
looking
to
for a
close
way
the
out
door.
of this room
Right, you're looking for a way out of this room.
while they
Okay.
move furniture.
So they're all pushing. You can see there is another door. Um, uh, oh,
Sorry, can I ask,
yes, you can ask.
like, the man who had the book, where did he go? Did he go into this room? Or is
No,
he
he
walking
was the
around?
guy
He
that
walked
pulled his
around.
face apart and suddenly was Vakwilin.
Yeah.
He was up on the balcony
Oh, shit.
with her, gave her the book, and then came downstairs and
Okay, right.
got
Yeah.
off his face.
Revealed himself.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Gave Marianne the book.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry, I completely blanked at that. I think that like as the others are kind of like jumping into crisis mode, I think Eliza is just really in her head with what she's seen, but particularly like because we've been walking through the gallery for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And as Jay, of course, I had to look at all the art immediately and consider it. And I don't know, I was just like, there's stuff around Death Triumphant over Adam and Eve. There's the dead Velaquin with the force of life. There's the entrails in exchange, the three stone angels with the imprisonment of illusion, um, and then intellect being a city that you can get to that's aspirational. I wonder whether or not there's any role I could make. Maybe it's like a hard or something occult or even Cthulhu mythos to understand like if death transcends over life, if that ever happens, is there a way to unmake that? Is there a way to stuff the entrails back into Velaquin and make him human again?
By all means, make an occult roll.
Great.
So you're actually in this room here, by the way, in answer to the question.
Cool.
That one
Oh,
right
I
there.
can't see anything on my screen.
I can't see, it's all black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Agreed.
bugger it. Give me
Hard success, but I can make it extreme if it would help.
Hopefully that'll fix that problem.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will come back to your question, Jay. I'm just...
Oh, sorry, I can see it now. Oh, this is nice.
You are in this room. You've run through these doors.
Oh, to number 6?
To number 6, which is a
Yeah.
library. So there's books and there's a desk and there's all that. And people have jammed the desks against the doors over here, which is how you came in. And in answer to your question, Rector, there are 2 doors out. One there and one there.
Right.
Okay. Can we stuff the entrails back into the dead guy?
Yeah, or like, is there a way that you can conquer death that has already conquered life?
Sacrifice and take the sins of others.
So, I mean, the answer is that death and life are in constant tension with each other, and you know that. They're in an endless cycle. They're not one dominant over the other. They are 2 parts of everything. Everything dies and then is reborn. You can feel that there might be a way to restore the balance between life and death rather than talking about life being triumphant over death. That there's something in restoring the balance or weakening the hold that death has. There's a sense that death has done something here that is beyond. And at that point, just because you've been, throwing Toggerini's name out like it's
Yes.
a minor sense, a minor thing, you are definitively struck by the fact that Toggerini is the name of like death incarnate, death as a thing, not death as a not death as a sort of action or as a result of consequence, but rather death as a genuine conscious force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And that, my good friends, is where we shall leave it. And I will stop.
Well, it's okay. We're only